We continue the impact of climate change on gender inequality. And here we look at either other climate change issues that make women more vulnerable. So it is estimated that the majority of the world's poor are actually women. And this may be worsened by the other impact of climate activities or climate change, which tends to push them more into poverty. For example, women are more likely to be killed or injured as a direct result of climate change disasters. Call it a typhoon, a tsunami, an earthquake. Women are more likely to be injured, to be killed, women and children, because they are more vulnerable, because they are generally weaker, because they will look out for their children when disaster strikes, and they will make sure they want to protect their family, because it's just more difficult for them to have access to the resources that they need. And so that makes them more vulnerable. Women depend more on natural resources to take care of the families and themselves. And we know climate risk um, depletes the natural resources that are available for women to take care of themselves. Talk about drought, which deplete water resources. Talk about increasing temperatures that deplete the vegetation, which affects access to food and other issues. Now, female-headed families actually may find it difficult to survive climate-related risks. For example, sometimes they may have to leave and go and find new locations to live because climatic conditions have changed, weather conditions have changed, water is no longer available, temperatures are just too high. And so women often tend to migrate with their children to find new places, new locations to live, just to survive the, the climate change. Women rely on less assets. Women tend to have fewer assets to rely on than men. And with climate change, if these assets get damaged, it becomes quite difficult for them to survive because their assets are damaged either through weather-related disasters like tsunamis, like floods, which carry all their belongings away. It becomes extremely difficult for them. Lastly, but very importantly, violence against women tend to escalate after climate-related risks. Call it typhoons, call it risk, call it earthquake, especially when um, these women and children are put in camps where they live in tents. We know that sexual molestation increase around that time, and other molestations also go on. In other words, women and children tend to suffer more from the effect of weather-related events. And so this adds to the fact that climate risks actually has significant adverse impact on women and children. And so again, to ensure equality and inclusion, there is the need to address climate risks.